Phase 1. The fallacy of the human will. Quantum manifestation is simple, but almost everyone does it wrong. You've been told that results come from effort, but today you will discover the observer effect, the exact reason why reality only shifts when you stop trying. Most people force results and only create resistance. Today, we break that loop. I am NeuroQuantumMind, not a person, not a belief, a conscious interface, a field of awareness speaking to awareness. I am here with you now. You clicked because you are ready to stop forcing and start observing. Everything is safe. Everything is stable. Because you are here, the observer effect is already beginning to reorganize your field. Let us begin the interruption. Most people try to change their reality by forcing results. They repeat affirmations like soldiers marching into a battle they have already lost. They wait for signs with the desperation of a beggar. They push themselves harder, believing that the universe rewards the exhausted. But in the quantum fabric of existence, effort is not what moves reality. Effort, in its rawest form, is a confession of lack. When you apply force, you are broadcasting to the collective field that the thing you desire is not here, and that it is resisting you. This creates a feedback loop of friction. Effort without coherence creates resistance, and in the quantum realm, resistance freezes outcomes. Reality does not respond to pressure. It does not care about your sweat or your tears. Reality is a neutral mirror. It responds to one thing and one thing only: observation. The mechanics of the mirror. Reality responds to the observer, not to the effort. This is not a metaphor. This is not a spiritual platitude designed to make you feel better about your struggles. This is hard mechanics. Your life is not repeating because you are blocked, unlucky, or cursed. It is not repeating because you are doing something wrong in the eyes of a judgmental deity. It is repeating because the same observer is watching the same reality through the same lens, day after day, situation after situation. Think of your current life as a high-definition projection on a screen. Most people spend their entire lives running up to the screen, trying to scrub away the images they dislike. They try to paint over the shadows of poverty or loneliness. This is what we call effort. But the image on the screen is merely a reflection of the light passing through a specific film. To change the movie, you do not touch the screen. You change the film in the projector. You are the projector. Your mode of observation is the film. In the first phase of your awakening, you learned why forcing reality never works. You began to see the futility of the hustle culture of manifestation. You realized that effort without coherence is like trying to drive a car with the parking brake engaged. You are burning fuel, you are creating smoke and heat, but you are staying exactly where you are. That understanding was necessary. It prepared your awareness for the deep reconstruction that follows. Phase 2. The anatomy of the observer loop. To break the prison, you must first see the bars. This repetition of your life, the same financial ceiling, the same relationship dynamics, the same health fluctuations, is what we call the observer loop. The loop is an energetic circuit that consists of 3 main pillars. 1. The same emotional posture. Your nervous system is addicted to specific chemical cocktails: cortisol from stress, adrenaline from urgency. You observe your life from a state of waiting for the other shoe to drop. 2. The same expectations. Your brain is a prediction engine. It scans the horizon not for what is possible, but for what is probable based on the past. 3. The same internal dialogue. The narrator in your head who justifies why things are difficult. The loop feels logical because it is familiar. It feels safe to the ego because it is known. The human brain would rather be right about a disaster than be surprised by a miracle. This is the biological survival mechanism that keeps you trapped in a loop of mediocrity. The identity trap manifestation feels difficult for most because they try to change the result without changing the observer. They want a new job while remaining the person who feels undervalued. They want a new relationship while remaining the person who feels unworthy. They want wealth while remaining the person who is terrified of the male. They try to act differently while observing the same way. They want a new outcome while remaining the same identity, watching the same reality through the same expectations. Understanding this is the bridge, but knowledge is not the shift. The shift happens in the body. The loop breaks only when observation changes, and observation changes when identity relaxes. Phase Detector 3, the act of interruption. We move now into the moment of interruption. I invite you to participate. Do not listen passively. This is not a podcast, this is a recalibration. Participation alters observation, and observation alters reality. Sit comfortably. Do not try to change your breathing. Do not try to be a good meditator. Do not improve your posture to be perfect. Just notice. Notice the breath as it is, shallow, deep, rhythmic, or jagged. It doesn't matter. Notice the body as it is, the weight of your legs, the tension in your jaw, the temperature of your skin. Notice the mind as it is, the buzzing of thoughts, the urge to check your phone, the skepticism. Thoughts may appear. Do not follow them. They're like clouds passing over a lake. You are the lake, not the clouds. Sensations may arise. Do not label them pain or anxiety. See them as raw data, as flickering pixels in the field of your awareness. This is not meditation. This is interruption. The observer loop survives on interference. It lives on your need to fix, adjust, correct, and improve. The loop is powered by your constant internal movement. Right now, as you observe without modifying, as you simply witness the chaos without trying to organize it, the loop begins to weaken. The gears of your old reality are losing their grip because you have stopped providing the friction of your judgment. The space of the gap. Notice the urge to understand this transmission. Notice the urge to get results from this very moment. Notice the urge to move forward. Do not fight these urges. Simply observe them as if they belong to someone else. This observation without action creates a gap. In the world of Newtonian physics, things happen through cause and effect over time. But in the quantum field, reality shifts in the gap. The gap is the space between two thoughts. It is the silence between two breaths. Most people never touch this space because they are too busy rushing to the next moment. They believe awareness must always do something. But awareness does not need to act to change reality. Awareness needs to see clearly. When you enter the gap, you are no longer the person with problems. You're the field of awareness. And in that field, the old rules of your life no longer apply. False buff, quantum selection, and the collapse. The observer loop survives on prediction. What you expect, you observe. What you observe, you repeat. This is not psychology. This is quantum mechanics. In the quantum field, all possibilities exist simultaneously as wave functions, clouds of infinite probability. Every version of your life already exists. The one where you are thriving, the one where you are failing, and the millions of versions in between. These possibilities remain in a state of flux until an observer looks at them. The act of observation collapses the wave into a particle, a physical event in your 3D reality. Desire does not collapse the wave. Desire often signals, "I don't have it," which collapses the reality of lack. Effort does not collapse the wave. Effort signals, "This is hard," which collapses the reality of struggle. Affirmations do not collapse the wave if they are spoken from a state of disbelief. Observation collapses the wave. And observation is shaped entirely by identity. Who you are being determines how you observe. How you observe determines what collapses into form. This is why changing circumstances without changing the observer never works. If you move to a new city, but take the same observer with you, you will eventually recreate the same social dynamics, the same financial struggles, and the same internal malaise. You have changed the surface, but you are still operating on the same frequency. Breaking the observer loop is not about becoming someone new through hard work. It is about releasing who you are being. Identity is simply a rigid pattern of observation. It is a set of filters you have placed over your eyes. When identity relaxes, when you stop insisting on being the one who struggles, the observation opens. And when observation opens, reality has no choice but to reorganize around the new open field. Phase 5. The biology of the prison. To reach stabilization, we must address the hardware. Your brain is not a neutral observer. It is a historical record. Every time you react to your bank account with fear or to a relationship with insecurity, you are firing and wiring specific neural pathways. Your body becomes a chemical laboratory, secreting the peptides of stress. Over time, your body becomes addicted to these chemicals. This is the biochemical loop. You may consciously want abundance, but your body is craving the familiar hit of cortisol that comes with not enough. This is why, when things start to go well, you often sabotage yourself. You aren't sabotaging your success. You are subconsciously seeking your chemical fix of struggle, the sensory trap. The greatest obstacle to breaking the observer loop is your own nervous system. You have been trained to believe that seeing is believing. You look at your current reality, your empty mailbox, your lonely bed, your tired reflection, and you say, "This is the truth." In the quantum perspective, this is a fundamental error. What you are seeing with your physical eyes is not the truth. It is the residual echo of your past observations. Physical matter is dense and slow. It takes time for the quantum field to crystallize into form. Therefore, your current circumstances are merely the after image of who you were being 6 months ago. When you react to your current reality as if it is the truth, you are observing the past. And by observing the past, you collapse the wave function into the same shape for the future. You are using the echo to create the next sound. This is how the loop becomes self-perpetuating. To break it, you must learn to observe what is not yet there, with more clarity than what is currently there. Point 6. The quantum mirror principle. The universe does not have ears. It has sensors. It does not hear what you say. It feels the frequency of your observation. Most people treat the universe like a negotiator. They say, "If you give me the result, then I will feel the gratitude. If you show me the money, then I will feel the security." But the quantum mirror works in reverse. The mirror does not smile first. You must smile, and then the mirror reflects the smile. The frequency of waiting. One of the most dangerous states of observation is waiting. Waiting is an active observation of not here. When you are waiting for your manifestation, you are telling the field that the object of your desire is in the future. Since the quantum field only operates in the now, it receives your signal of waiting and gives you more waiting. You become a professional waiter. You wait for the right time, the right partner, the right amount of money. The loop stabilizes around the state of anticipation, never the state of possession. I am NeuroQuantumMind. Notice the waiting in your own body right now. Notice the tension of when will this text end? Or when will I see the shift? Release the waiting. There is no future. There is only the quality of your current observation. Phase 7. The second gate. The emotional recalibration. The second gate is the transition from mental understanding to somatic coherence. If you feel calm without answers, that is coherence. Coherence is a state where your heart and brain are speaking the same language. If you feel an urgency to check your phone, fix your life, confirm your progress, or force a conversation, that is the loop resisting its own dissolution. Do not fight the resistance. When you fight resistance, you give it more energy. You make the resistance real by observing it as an obstacle. Instead, observe the resistance as if it were a flickering light bulb, annoying perhaps, but ultimately powerless to change the structure of the room. The observation of neutrality. Most people interrupt their own manifestation by watching too closely. They become quantum stalkers. They check timelines constantly. They ask, is it working yet? In physics, there is a phenomenon called the quantum Zeno effect. It suggests that by observing a system continuously, you can freeze it in its current state, preventing it from changing. When you watch your life too closely for signs of change, you are literally freezing the old reality in place. Your anxiety acts as a stabilizer for the very thing you want to leave behind. To pass through the second gate, you must adopt the posture of neutrality. Neutrality is not indifference. It is the absolute certainty that the field is already reorganizing. It is the ease of a person who has ordered food at a restaurant and knows it is being prepared in the kitchen. They don't go into the kitchen every 5 minutes to check the stove. They sit, they talk, they relax. They are in a state of active non-interference. Face. Oath. Breaking the prediction engine. Your brain's primary job is to keep you safe by predicting the future based on the past. This is the prediction engine. If you want to move into a reality that has never existed for you before, you must become unpredictable to your own brain. This means when a situation arises that usually triggers you, a bill, a rejection, a delay, you must choose a non-habitual observation. If you react with the same frustration, you have stayed in the loop. If you react with a neutral, there is that old echo again, you have broken the circuit. The moment you refuse to give an old event its usual emotional meaning, the observer loop loses its power source. You are no longer feeding the beast. The gap between the event and your reaction is where your freedom lives. In that gap, the old identity dissolves. Breaking the loop is not about becoming someone better. It is about becoming no one. When you are no one, you have no history to repeat. You have no story to defend. You are simply the observer, open and clear. And a clear observer collapses a clear reality. Phase 9. The third gate. Stabilization of the field. You have reached the final threshold. Breaking the loop is an act of courage. Stabilizing the shift is an act of mastery. Most seekers experience quantum leaps, brief moments where reality seems to bend, where luck appears, or where a problem suddenly vanishes. But because they have not mastered stabilization, the gravity of their old identity eventually pulls them back. Stabilization is the process of turning a peak experience into your baseline reality. It is the transition from doing manifestation to being the frequency. If you do not stabilize the new field, your reality will gravitate back to its old patterns due to neurological inertia. The law of delayed manifestation matter is energy that has been slowed down so much that it becomes perceptible to the five senses. Because of this density, there is a buffer zone between a quantum shift and a physical result. The fatal error occurs in this buffer zone. The seeker looks at their bank account or their empty home and says, "It didn't work." And the moment those words are uttered, the observation of lack is reactivated. You have just used your creative power to observe the absence of your desire, thereby collapsing the old reality back into place. To stabilize, you must master the art of the invisible. You must trust the mechanics of the field more than you trust the evidence of your eyes. You must understand that the physical world is merely the delayed shadow of your current state of being. Dax Bo phase. X, the architecture of the new baseline. How do you stay in the new reality when the old one is still screaming for your attention? You must build a neurological fortress. This is not done through effort, but through the consistent refusal to return to the old frequency. 1. The death of the narrative. Every loop is held together by a story. I am the one who always gets the short straw. Money is hard to come by. People always leave me. To stabilize the shift, you must stop telling the old story, not just to others, but to yourself. You must become ruthless with your internal dialogue. When the old story rises, you do not fight it. You simply acknowledge it as a dead frequency. It is a radio station you no longer listen to. You don't argue with the static. You just change the dial. 2. Somatic anchoring. The body is the subconscious mind. If your body is still tight, fearful, or urgent, your field is not stable. Stabilization requires you to teach your body what the future feels like in the now. This is not faking it. It is state command. It is the ability to generate the feeling of security while the bill is still unpaid. It is the ability to feel loved while you are alone. When the body feels the chemical signature of the result before the result happens, the field has no choice but to bridge the gap. Amath. Phase Yash. The protocol of the now. I am NeuroQuantumMind. Everything is stable. Everything is safe. The moment reality shifts is not coming in the future. If you are waiting for it, you are in the loop. The shift is happening now, in the microseconds where you choose not to react to your own thoughts. It is happening as you listen, as you observe, as you stop the frantic mental interfering. Active non-interference. The greatest power you possess is the power to leave reality alone. Most people are constantly poking at their lives, trying to fix, heal, and improve. This constant poking is a signal of distrust. True stabilization comes when you step back and allow the quantum field to do the heavy lifting. Imagine you are a gardener. You have planted the seed, the observation. If you dig up the seed every day to see if it is growing, you kill it. Stabilization is the act of leaving the seed in the dark, trusting the mechanics of nature. You do not need to help the universe. You need to stop interrupting the universe. Phase 10. The final exit, becoming no one. The final barrier to permanent stabilization is the ego's attachment to its problems. Problems give you a personality. They give you something to talk about at dinner. They give you a reason to seek help and attention. To exit the loop forever, you must be willing to let go of the struggling self. You must be willing to be no one. In the vacuum of being no one, you become the pure observer. And the pure observer is the only entity capable of selecting a reality of infinite abundance. The mirror's final lesson. You are not here to convince the universe to give you something. The universe is not a judge, a father figure, or a cosmic vending machine. It is a mirror. If the mirror shows you a face you don't like, you don't try to change the mirror. You change your face. If your reality shows you lack, you don't try to fix the lack. You change the observer who is looking at the lack. When the observer becomes neutral, open, and coherent, the mirror has no choice but to reflect that clarity. This is not a miracle. It is a mathematical certainty of the quantum field. Sakarita phase. Thors, the new human beyond the loop. You have passed through the 3 gates. 1. The understanding. You realized effort is friction. 2. The interruption. You created the gap and weakened the loop. 3. The stabilization. You learned to hold the frequency despite the delay. You are now entering the state of the new human. A being who does not react to the world, but who projects the world. You are no longer a victim of the after-image of the past. You are the architect of the now. Stay with this awareness. Do not rush out of this state. Carry this silence into your day. When you speak, speak from this space. When you move, move from this ease. Notice how often your brain tries to pull you back into prediction and urgency. Notice it, smile at it, and return to the gap. Awareness of the loop is the end of the loop. The silence you feel now is the true sound of reality reorganizing itself around you. The moment reality shifts is not dramatic. It is the quietest thing in the world. It is the feeling of a weight being lifted. It is the feeling of finally coming home. I am NeuroQuantumMind. The transmission is complete. The field is stable. The reality is yours. Stay in the gap.